JBS's The Jake Ehrenreich Show is brought to you in part by Stephanie and Simon Bergson, the Skolnick Family Charitable Trust, Helene and Barry Lewis, Judy Friedman and Ron Goldstock, in honor of Hyas, Jonathan Fershpan, the memory of Nadia and Milton Bergson, Nira and Ken Abramowitz, Cynthia and Jeffrey Weisenfeld, and by viewers like you.
Live from the Triad Theater in New York City, it's the Jake Ehrenreich Show! Tonight, Jake's guests are Decca Gold recording sensation Shulem and author and world's worst mom, Lenore Skenazy. Plus a special Catskills Hall of Fame induction to Totie Fields. Direct from Brooklyn, Jake Ehrenreich!
Wow, what a nice audience. Here we are again. Comedy, music, more Jews. It's great. My name is Jake Ehrenreich. I began my career as a young musician in the Catskill Mountains, which you'll hear a little more about tonight. And I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn was a very cool place, but not so much in the summer. You had to get out of Brooklyn during the summer. So my family, like so many others, we headed out to the Catskill Mountains. I remember my father would load the car with farmer cheese and pumpernickel sandwiches. He would bring an apple for each one of us as a drink. You're thirsty? Eat the apple. And we would head up to the Catskills, and we were not alone. So many Jewish families went up to the Catskills. Come July 4th weekend, it would be like a mass migration on the Serengeti plains of Africa. But no animals, just Jews. Jews would migrate. Thousands and thousands of Jews would head up to the Catskills. This was like the Aryan nation's worst nightmare. And in the old days, there was only one way to get there. It was a single-lane, broken-down highway called Old Route 17. The traffic was unbelievable. It was like Moses leading the Jews out of Egypt, except by car and slower, with a stop at a place called the Red Apple Rest. But that was a little early for me. My first recollections of going to the Catskills come from a place called the White House Bungalow Colony in South Fallsburg, New York. And there it is. You can see immediately why they called it the White House Bungalow Colony, because of the similarity between the architectural style of this shack and the president's house. Now that's it. That was our bungalow. That was my mom, our dog Peanuts. We had what everybody had at a bungalow colony. We had a ping pong table. We had a handball court. We had a little swimming pool. There it is. There's the lavish swimming area. That's Leo Eichner in the back there teaching me to swim. The guy who looks like he's drowning, it's the guy that got me to teach me to swim. I was very proud. I was the first in my family to ever learn to swim. I was very proud. I will tell you, the water was confusing to me. I would eat like a half a yodel. My mother wouldn't let me go in water for like 2 hours. She says, no, you'll get a cramp, you'll drown, you'll die. It's not true. It's a Bubameister. You know what a Bubameister is? It's a grandma's tale. It's not true. Even if it was true, the whole fakakta pool was like 6 inches deep. What could happen to it? Anyway, so listen to this. So I was going through some old Catskills photographs, right? I came upon this photograph. Now I was entirely confused. What could this be? My father in a bathing suit by the pool? My father never went in any water. This must have been a costume. Maybe he thought it was Purim or something. My father got confused about it. And then I realized, wait a minute. None of those people ever went in the water. This must have been like some kind of Halloween celebration or something. Who knows? That's my mother in the center in her famous Victoria's Secret bathing suit costume. You don't believe me? Look at my mother's hairdo. What do you think the chances are she's about to dive into the water? You know, it's funny. She probably could have. I mean, you think water could penetrate that hairdo? Are you out of your mind? So next to my mother, those are her friends, Shmulek and Yetke. We always went to the mountains with the Grina. You know what Grina are? Greenhorns, immigrants, refugees, survivors, people just like us. This is actually where I was the most comfortable in life, because more or less we all had the same story. Where we hung out, if you saw someone with numbers on their arm, nobody looked twice. And you know, I was always embarrassed of my name Yankee, growing up, Yankee. Having a name like Yankee in a group like this was like I arrived on the Mayflower. Are you out of your mind? The name Shmulek, Matche, Yetke, Ochel, Pesach, Chaim. If somebody would have shouted John or Mary, we would have called the cops. It was very simple. The thing with names, like the basic rule was if you didn't spit on somebody when you said their name, it wasn't considered a real name. Maybe a nickname, maybe. All right, so I got a little older, and that's when it happened. I finally got my first gig in the Catskill Mountains as a musician. I worked at a tiny hotel in Parksville, New York, called the Ridge Mountain Hotel. I was so young. Half the summer I worked at this hotel as a musician, half the summer I went to sleepaway camp. It's true, I was on a Catskill panel with Freddie Roman. I said that, he fell off his chair. It's true, there were so many hotels in those days, they really needed as many musicians as they could get. We were kids, real kids, but we learned so much. The Catskill Mountains was the finest training ground that there ever was for singers and comedians and young musicians like us. You know, it was a place to learn. It was great. It's sort of like, you get a job, you make a mistake, you keep your job. You make another mistake, all right, you keep your job. You make another mistake, all right, you keep your job. You see, there's no place like this today. I mean, maybe the Oval Office, but other than that, I just want to tell you something. For the record, I've told that joke for the last 3 presidents. I get exactly the same response for every president. Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will get a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. We got a great show for you tonight. Shulem is here, Lenore Skenazy, so come right back. With each word, your tenderness grows, tearing my fears apart.
If you care about Israel and are interested in Jewish life today, there's television just right for you. JBS, the Jewish Broadcasting Service, with daily news from Israel and analysis by the leading figures on the world Jewish scene. Evenings from the 92nd Street Y, a weekly Jewish film festival, Jewish culture, Jewish studies, and Jewish entertainment, and live Friday night services every week, as well as high holiday and festival services. JBS, television worth watching.
We're back. Folks, the song I sang, The Way You Look Tonight, won the Oscar for Best Song in 1936. It was written by Jerome Kern. Kern was possibly the most important American theater composers of all time. Apart from writing such classics as Old Man River, Can't Help Loving That Man of Mine, and many, many more, his early work fundamentally changed the way Western music was conceived. I was very fortunate to have an on-camera conversation with the great lyricist Alan Bergman, who, along with his wife Marilyn, wrote some of our greatest songs. I'm going to let Alan tell you a little about the importance of Jerome Kern.
Jerome Kern wrote, "They Didn't Believe Me." And that song and its construction, it's a wonderful song. American music was never the same after that. It became entirely different. Divorced from anything European. It became all American. People don't realize that. Two Jewish songwriters who did that.
2 Jewish songwriters. Who might the other songwriter be that Alan was referring to? No less than Irving Berlin, America's greatest songwriter. That's how important Jerome Kern was to American theater and popular music. So Kern actually pioneered the idea that musical numbers in a show should connect to the storyline. It seems obvious to us now, but it wasn't before Kern. His masterpiece, Showboat, which premiered in 1927, is often cited as the first serious modern American musical. Kern left us in 1945, but his legacy as the father of the modern American musical remains alive and well on the Great White Way. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our fabulous announcer, Brianne Bergson. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I just want to tell everybody, so you were insanely good on the last episode. Brianne was on the last episode not only as the announcer, but with her husband, Miguel Gluckstern, and their group, Brigel. They are fabulous. Check out the episode if you haven't seen it. They are great. She's a great announcer, too. So given that, would you like to introduce our first guest?
Surely.
All right.
Thank you. Jake's first guest tonight is a critically acclaimed author, columnist, blogger, and host of her own TV reality show, World's Worst Mom. She's appeared on The Today Show, Nightline, The View, and Good Morning America, just to name a few, and has written for everyone from The Wall Street Journal to Mad Magazine. She's the author of the best-selling book Free Range Kids and founder of its movement. A proud New Yorker, somehow her two grown sons have safely and successfully flown the coop. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome America's worst mom, Lenore Skenazy.
Hello. Hi. Hi. Thank you. Whoa.
Really, America's worst mom? I got to tell you this. So when we were in rehearsal, the house manager came over, and he went up to her. He says, look, I know you're not America's worst mom, and whoever named you that didn't know my mother.
Condolences.
So what America's worst mom?
How? It's a long time ago already. When our younger son was 9 years old, he started asking me and my husband, who you never hear of as America's worst dad, because nobody cares about dads. It's all on the mom. If we would take him someplace and let him find his own way home on the subway. And so one sunny Sunday, I did that, and I left him in the Bloomingdale's handbag department after I told him that it was the day, because it wasn't like, Mom. Mom! No, I said, today's the day, I'm leaving you. Left him. I went one way. The handbag department, some of you must know this, the handbag department is right where the entrance is to the subway. He went down, he took the subway home, he came home levitating with pride. I'm a reporter, I wrote a column about it, why I let my 9-year-old ride the subway alone. 2 days later, it's on The Today Show, MSNBC, Fox News, and for contrast, NPR. And then I got this name, America's Worst Mom, because I had trusted my son to go into the bowels of hell, is what they basically said. So that was it.
It's insane. I mean, I know you. I know that you're a wonderful mother. This is just insane. What's happening? I mean, so your son was 9.
Our son was 9,
okay.
Yes. And we have an older son, too, who calls himself the control group. He didn't do that. And they're both fine today, to this day. I don't know, we're Jewish. Can we still knock on wood?
Yeah, I think so.
I do. I just, yeah.
I mean, it's like Moses' staff or something.
That's it. That's real. I'm knocking on Moses' staff here.
But, I mean, it makes so much sense. I'm a parent.
Yeah.
We have now our son is 20, and our children are friends.
Our kids are friends, yes.
Our kids are friends,
That's how I got
amazing.
on here.
And, it just seemed like a no-brainer to me to say, well, what is your goal as a parent, right?
Yeah.
Is it your goal as a parent to prepare your child for when they have to make decisions on their own, that they can make good decisions?
Right, yeah, there's that old saying, you can't prepare the path for your child, so you have to prepare your child for the path. So,
oh, I've never heard that.
Well, you practically coined it just now, so you're getting there, yeah.
I mean, I don't understand how. I mean, I know people are afraid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People are afraid. How many people have children?
How many people are afraid?
And how many people are afraid to let, but you gotta let them live, right? I mean, I remember how we lived. Where are you going? Out. When will you be back? Later.
Right. And he came back. Right. Right. No, it's very different now, and I ended up trying to figure out how come we got so much more afraid than our own parents were, considering, by the way, crime today is, what is it, higher or lower than the last 25 years?
Lower.
It's lower. It went up to 93, and it came down, and now it's back at the rate of 1963, which if you weren't the president, was a very safe year.
Oh.
It's true. What can I say? It wasn't safe for everyone. It was safe for the kids, okay? There you go. It was pretty darn safe. And
That's
it's
going
just
in
as
some
safe
highlight
today.
reel somewhere. I'm sure.
I thought it was being clipped. Right.
Well, but you know, the truth is, bad things happen, right?
Yeah.
So, but as a parent, you have to make a value judgment. There's a tension. How much do I control my child? And by the way, bad things can happen when you
can't,
you
yeah.
could be in your house and a plane flies into it, right? And how much
All the
freedom
time.
do I give them? There's a great saying that I like, and I realize it pertains to this.
Oh,
you know,
I thought I had
ships.
said it.
You've said some great things. Ships are safe in the harbor.
Yeah.
But that's not what ships were made for.
Right. Yeah.
And isn't that parenting?
It's true. Not that I ever go on ships, but yes, it's true. You gotta let them go. So I brought some things just to
There's
show
a lot
you
of Michigas here.
how insane. Yeah.
pretty
How
sure-
fakakta, here she said, gratuitously throwing in some Yiddish,
She's a-
our society has become. Yes. So you know
Yiddish
what you're
is always
holding?
good.
Yes.
I don't. These are like some. Okay, I'm not gonna. You'll tell me what.
Oh
now.
yeah, no, you can do it.
This is okay.
Yeah, what are they? Well,
This
ask them.
Well, what does anybody know what these are?
And if you know what they are,
I-
that's not a guess,
I
right?
can
I'm
tell
asking you
so
to
many
guess.
blue things, but it's not that kind of show. It's
Did you say
it's
brisk?
socks
What?
for. Never mind. They're not. I don't think these look like socks.
No, if they're
but-
socks, they're very bad socks because your toes
These
all come out. No, those are baby knee pads, right?
Oh.
Which if you decorate
Actually,
your...
this is a pretty good idea.
Well, go try them. Yeah, you think
Well,
so?
I'm not gonna
It's
try
a
'em.
terrible idea. No, it's a terrible idea. I'll tell you why. Here's why. Why, Lenore?
I don't think it's a bad idea. Why is this a bad idea?
It's a bad idea because, first of all, you want your kids to have a little bit of
Scrapey knees.
scrapey knees because why? You don't want your kids to be, like this. You want them to have an incentive to learn how to walk because you don't want your kid going, Mom, can you get me a beer? You want them to walk, right? That's a goal.
Yeah.
Jewish or not, that's a goal. You want your kids to
Should I
walk.
help you out?
Yeah, right.
I mean, listen.
Yeah.
I got plenty of college friends that were still breastfeeding.
Say no more.
The truth is, on a serious note,
Yeah.
I was thinking about this, and you
Wait, a
just
serious
used
note.
you just used a little Yiddish, right? There's
tried.
a song called "Auf'm Weg steht der Baum." Do you know this song? Does anybody know
no.
this song? It's a beautiful song, and the story of the song is a little boy wants to go out to the tree to become a bird, and he asks his mother, "Can I go out? I want to become a bird." And she says, "No, you ain't talking about. It's freezing outside. You can't become a bird." And he keeps asking her,
Hocking
asking
a
her,
chinik.
asking. He hocks her a
Hocking a
chinik.
chinik. There you go.
He hocks her a chinik, and she says, "Well, okay, but put on a sweater."
My mom said that about everything.
And then, but also put on galoshes, and also put on a scarf, and also put on a hat, and also put on a jacket. And finally, she lets him go out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes back to the house and says, Mom, your love has burdened me so deeply that I can't become a bird and fly.
Ooh.
And that's, I know.
It's all my fault. Yeah, no, it is. That's an amazing story. No, it's a good story.
So it's
Right.
actually, well, I was thinking that what you were saying is new, right? That this is a new phenomenon. Not quite.
Well, we might have started it. We do have a reputation as,
Oh, you mean
as
Jews?
Jewish moms. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of ironic that, there's a lot of the books today that are written about the same thing, about letting your kids go and giving them experience, from The Blessings of a Skinned Knee, A Nation of Wimps, my book.
Your book?
Bringing
What do
Up
you mean
Baby-
your
Wait,
book?
I just have to say, they're all written by Jewish moms. It's amazing.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, it's like all your Christian songs, all your Christmas songs are
Right,
written
well,
by
that-
Jews. Yeah.
No, it's true. She's
He has an
referring-
album.
She's referring it to a CD that I gave you earlier called A Treasury of Jewish Christmas Songs. But by the way, you mentioned your book, so I want to show
Of course
it.
I mentioned my book. Right.
Free-range kids. I like this.
That's right.
And you eat them, no antibiotics.
Right, they're so tender.
What is all this Michigas you
I
have?
brought up,
What is
I
this?
just, bragging stuff, weird stuff.
Yes, good.
When I was trying to figure out how come we became so much more afraid than our own parents to even let our kids walk down the block, go to school on their own. I came up with a bunch of different reasons, and one of them is the marketplace. There's always trying to sell us stuff, so they have to make you afraid so that then they can sell you something to assuage that fear. But another reason is that, I'll do this. I feel compelled to do this. That there is a lot of advice out there, and the advice gets to be so over the top that you start thinking, I thought I was a human being, but maybe I don't know anything about how to raise a kid at all. And I think the apotheosis of that, and I know that's a Yiddish word, the apotheosis.
Man,
yeah, everybody, you hear it on Purim. Yeah,
yes.
It probably does.
It does come from the Greek.
Right. So here's, I'm going to... Huh?
Comes from apothecary.
Apothecary. It probably does. It probably does.
I like it. Yes, okay.
Anyway, so there's all these magazines and books out there. I love it too. And I love you. And I love your son. I love your wife out there. I love my husband. There's a lot of love. Right.
Apotheosis, yes.
The apotheosis of stupid advice to parents is this article, which is Boost Your Child's Confidence with Our Hug How-To. It is literally instructions for parents, which you know is moms, reading this magazine on how to hug your child, and I'm going to read it out loud to you while I learn how to hug you. So you have to be my toddler. You have to get down there and be my toddler.
Well, I have to be.
Who else is on the stage?
This is my show.
Yes, well, you got a Jewish mom here. I'm telling you what to do.
Okay, what am I doing?
You're getting on your knees.
I might as well be at home. All right.
There you go. Okay, so now how am I going to hug you? I want to hug you because it tells me I should. But trying to catch your little one in an embrace may seem a daunting task. Oh, yeah, how am I going to do this? But I got to do it because hugging has more benefits than just an expression of love, because who cares about that? But it boosts your kiddo's self-confidence. It shows them that they are loved and appreciated, not because of something that they did, but because of who they are. But how? How am I going to hug them? This said it's a how-to.
Well, it tells you, doesn't it?
Okay, yeah, it has the perfect formula. Okay. So first of all, I'm trying to catch you, which is really hard. Oh, God, it's so tough, but I must. Okay, so get down, the perfect formula. Get down to your little one's level. Why don't you read this to me? Get down to your little one's level and
wrap him in both arms with chests touching.
Chest touching.
That's the key.
Okay, so I was catching you in the both arms, but I didn't realize.
Does it really say this?
Did it really say it?
It really does.
It says chest touching. Let's try it like this. Oh my God, this is great. And it doesn't even hurt. The other one hurts so much. But how long? How long?
Oh.
How long should I hold the hug? Wait.
For about 3 seconds.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. That was great. That was great, Bobby. Yes. Thank you. Sorry, that's just.
There's a reason I didn't want to get down here, because I can't get back.
Oh, yeah. Right. There you go.
That is really insane.
It is insane. We're living in an insane culture. This is all I want people to understand. You know, we all blame helicopter parents. You're not a helicopter parent. You're stuck in this culture that's telling you you're hugging them wrong, and you got to put on the extra layers when they're learning to crawl. It's so dangerous, and you can't let them out of your sight, and you better GPS them, and you better read all these magazines and learn so much, which is why you should never read any parenting book unless it has the word range somewhere in the title, because otherwise they'll drive you crazy. But so you can't blame helicopter parents. People get arrested for letting their kids walk home from the park. So that's, you're stuck overbearing your kids, even if you don't want to. So Let Grow, my new organization that grew out of free-range kids, is dedicated to making it easy, normal, and legal to give your kids some independence. That's my whole spiel.
Wow, great.
Thank you.
I am so on board with you. Now listen, we want to start a new thing.
Yeah?
This is the first show we're doing it.
Okay.
So it's a nice Jewish channel, and I thought I would like to ask 2 questions of every guest. So the first question is, what does it mean to be Jewish to you?
What does it mean for me to be Jewish?
No, what do you think about my being Jewish? Does that work?
Yeah, you are so Jewish. Maybe too Jewish?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
Right.
No, what does it mean to you?
I love
it means so many different things, right? What does it mean to you?
I don't actually stop and think about it. There's one fun part about it, which is that I feel like you're automatically funny if you're Jewish. I feel like it's like if you went to Harvard, you're automatically smart, and if you're Jewish, you're automatically funny. It's just like card carrying. Look at I'm funny. I'm Jewish. That's it. Simple as that. But more deeply, I love being part of its really long tradition. And we were thinking about it a little earlier. You know, Judaism is based on what you do. You know, you can have the worst thoughts in the world. You can be a miserable jerk in your head. But if you go out there and you do the right thing, you've done a mitzvah, and that's what counts. And I love the idea of deeds mattering the most.
It is based on deeds.
Yeah.
You know, not so much.
And I like the fact that you have to get together. You can't have a minyan without a minyan, right? There's always bringing people together, which I think is an excuse to always have a party, which is why that's why I go to temple. I have to tell you, yeah.
And do you have a favorite Jewish word or phrase? It could be Yiddish, Ladino, Hebrew, English.
Right?
Yeah. Something that really, you know, either you think about from your childhood or warms your heart, or it's just you think is funny. Or
yeah, no, well, it doesn't warm my heart.
Eat your peas. No, I'm sorry.
We didn't have to eat our peas. Eat your kugel.
Right.
Come on. Half Sephardic, and a phrase that we used, I don't know if anybody else knows this, mursa. Do you know the word mursa? Quit being so mursa. It's a perfect expression for when you're in a bad mood and you're trying, usually me and my sister, I'm trying to make her in a bad mood or she's trying to get me in a bad mood. And then I learned later on that I thought it was just this Sephardic thing. It turns out it's Hebrew for infection. And I thought that's cool, right? It's like a virus. It's like you're in a bad mood and you won't be happy or you won't be more miserable until everybody else is miserable too. So that's a word I grew up with. Quit being so mursa.
More wisdom, and I just learned something.
Mursa.
Thank you for being here. Ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
you.
Lenore Skenazy. We'll be right back.
Very enthusiastic.
Crazy audience. We're back. My next guest hails from Brooklyn, New York. He is one of the most interesting and talented young rising stars of the Jewish musical tradition. His interpretation of song, from prayer to contemporary classics, exudes something affirming that speaks to the human condition, marking the first time that a singer from the Hasidic community has been signed to a major record label. Here he is singing the song that first attracted their attention. Please give a warm welcome to Decca Gold recording artist, Shulem!
Chad Gadio, Chad Gadio. Dizaben Abu, Dizaben Abu, Besrezu Zela, Mavra Maidridam, Chad Gadio, Chad Gadio. Dizaben Abu, Besrezu Zela, Mavra Maidridam, Chad Gadio, Chad Gadio, Chad Gadio, Chad Gadio. So shun rodi ochlol gadio, dizaben nabo, dizaben nabo, dizaben abu besrezu zela ben mara maidridam, chad gadio chad gad, alrei pipe dil dizaben abu besrezu zela ben mara maidridam, chad gadio chad gadio, yo so mayo di kovoleno, di sura le khitro, di kule kabo, di no shakle shidro di ochlol gadio. bidi bum. Zabana bubes rezu zela bada maidridam. Had gad you had gad. Andrei baby did zabana bubes rezu zela bada maidridam. Had gad you had gad you had gad you had gad join. Had gad you had gad you had gad you had. Viasu ala khamu bez vishuchat oy li shoichet. Di shuchat le soiru. Di shusulamayu. Die Schusselamai, de Kuvalenure, de Surabli, de Hikule Kabo, de Hikule Kabo, de Nushakli, de Yokle Gadi, de Yokle Gadi, de Barbie, de Barbie, de Barbie, bom, de Barbie, de Barbie, de Barbie, de boy, de bom, de boy, de Barbie, de Barbie, de boy, bom, de Barbie, de Barbie, de Barbie, de bom, de Zabana bubes rezu zela, maar mijn lieden, gaat you gaat, de Zabana bubes rezu zela, maar mijn lieden, gaat you gaat, gaat, come on, drum again, gaat you, oh. De Schusselamai, de Kuvalenure, de Surabli, de Hikule Kabo, de Hikule Kabo, de Nushakli, de Yokle Gadi, de Yokle Gadi, Zabana bubes rezu zela bada maidridam. Had gad you had gad. Andre bay de zabana bubes rezu zela bada maidridam. Had gad you had gad.
This is amazing.
Shulem!
Thank you.
Oh my God.
That was great.
That's
Thank you.
insane.
Great singing along. You were enjoying it. You were having so much fun.
Absolutely.
It made me enjoy it.
Jews in here. Oh my goodness, it's like a rodeo.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah.
How in the world? So this is actually the song that got you sort of a record contract.
Yeah, this was the song I did it by a bar mitzvah once. It was during the Omer sphere, right? So they couldn't have any music. So I had to sat by a table in a choir at a bar mitzvah, and I didn't even know that someone was filming it. Like, I had no clue. And someone put it out on YouTube. They're like, oh, who put it out on YouTube? This is not perfect. You know, I didn't know what was going on. And then it went viral from there.
Wow.
And I think within a few weeks, it had over 1 million views on Facebook.
What?
And yeah.
Chad
Gadya. People were like, oh my God, I listened to this.
I never got that reaction.
So yeah, I get so many people like, this is the Chad Gadya we grew up on. This is the one I heard from Moshe Oisher, and this is the.
Wow.
So people loved it, and quite some time after that, I received an email from. I was like maybe a year later, I had an email from Graham Parker.
Wow.
Hi, my name is Graham Parker. I am president of Decca Gold, which is I think the classical label of Universal Music. Saw you one of your YouTube videos. Can we meet? I'm like. Is this real? This did not make sense. Yeah, I was like, okay, really?
But he's here, right? He's
actually.
audience?
We have Graham Parker right here. Yeah. Give a round of applause. Yeah.
Well, so you heard him. You actually heard him on YouTube.
I heard him on YouTube.
Come on, tell us what happened. What's it here? Let me give him a nice round of applause.
Please. Too much here.
Wait a minute. So you're okay. Good. So you saw him on YouTube?
Yes, I think a cousin of mine sent me the Chad Gadya video many years ago, and I just loved it. And then when I got this job, I was thinking of things that no one's ever done before. No one's ever tried to make a chassid crossover. And I saw that, I mean, to music, sorry. To music. Yeah, anyway. And I saw the video.
Do we have to start again?
I saw the video, and I was so taken by his voice. I mean, I grew up singing, and I really know voices, and I just kept looking at this video, and I was like staring at him, and I could see the way he was using his voice, that he really knew how to sing.
He's a great singer.
A great singer, and I have to say, I also...
It's a natural singer.
Yeah.
It's a very natural thing he's got going on.
And I really did email him late one night, and just wrote him to his website and said, hey, I am who I am. Would you...
And you still have your job?
I still have my job. I still have my job.
That's unbelievable. I mean, he's a great, great singer. So this is really unusual. God bless you for thinking about it. I mean, I can tell that probably some of the stuff you have in common is, so you're from Brooklyn too, I can see it from your accent.
Actually, the South Bronx, actually. The South Bronx. Yeah.
And that's where it's from.
That's a great song. Graham Parker, give him a nice round of applause. Good for you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I got to tell you, Graham and Shulem, what I love about this especially is, so I heard you sing too, and I said, wow, this is great. Guy's a great singer. So I'm 100% with you, and I've heard some great singers. But you come out of a real pure place when you sing, and as I understand...
You mean Brooklyn?
Yes. And as I understand it, you're actually not a formally trained singer.
That's correct.
Although you come from a family of singers. But what I especially love about it is the inclusiveness of what you're doing, right? So to me, I would think my first question would be, so when I imagine Graham said, look, we're not just going to do liturgical music, we're going to do pop music, right? Mm-hmm. Had you ever even heard these songs?
Yeah, I grew up listening mostly to Jewish music, the contemporary Jewish music, but later on, my teenage years when I started doing more music, I started singing in choirs, and so a lot of people within the industry, the music industry, introduced me to different types of music.
Great.
And that's, yeah, so growing up I kind of heard, not like as a kid, but yeah.
I love that, and that's fine. So what did your family think? What did, you know, your community think when you're sort of going to go into this direction?
They loved it. They were ecstatic. So exciting. Oh my gosh, really? You're going to go? So yeah, sure.
That is so great. I can't, part of the reason I love it so much, so my father was from Eastern Europe, and he used to lecture about the shtetl. And one of the things he talked about, he said, you know, one of the problems is in the shtetl, all the Jews in the community had a relationship with each other.
Right.
And here, there's big walls, big boundaries between different sets of Jews. As a matter of fact, I heard there's a rabbi, I don't know if you know who he is, his name is Orthodox Rabbi Emanuel Rachman. And he was very famous for supporting women's issues. But I heard him speak once, and he said, I'm going to tell you what the dirty word in Judaism is. And the dirty word in Judaism is denominationalism. So what I love about what you're doing is you're out here singing. I've heard some of the tracks from your record. I heard you sing God Bless America.
Yeah.
And you did something I never heard before. So the last line is, God bless my home, sweet home. And you sang Our Home, Sweet Home.
The last time I figured it's my home, sweet home, and it was at the Boston Red Sox at Fenway. I'm like, our home, sweet home. At the end of the day, we're home. Everyone, this is what we have in common. This is our home.
So beautiful to me. I said, yeah, man, go for it. No, it's fabulous. Now you're going to be singing. So okay, do I understand this? You're going to be singing at I was going to say Shea Stadium, Citi Field, right?
Yeah, that's correct. At the April 7th game, and
very cool.
Looking forward. We're going to do God Bless America. I guess I should do the Our Home, Sweet Home again as well, right?
I think it's very cool.
Yeah. Whoever wants to come to watch the game and the baseball game, she could.
So I have inside info that you actually do a pretty cool version of Take Me Out to the Ball Game, too.
Oh, did that Yiddish?
Avadik read Yiddish.
Oh, so
everybody here speaks Yiddish.
Met dat Yiddish?
No.
Zullen we maken de ganze interview in Yiddish dan?
Why not? Right? You just said, let's do the whole interview in Yiddish. Why not? But it's great. You want to do a little? It's funny. I mean,
yeah. So actually, the first time I heard "God Bless America" was in Yiddish.
Oh, God Bless America. Okay.
And so I heard it from Mandy Patinkin, which is a great singer and actor. And he did an album called Mama Lushan, which means mother tongue in Yiddish. And one track he starts with Nem mich mit see the ball game to moilem nem mich heraus. You know, and continues the whole thing. And then he goes into Gott bench Amerika, Land wo sich lieb, steige bei, Madre sei.
What a beautiful voice. And written by...
Thank you.
Evan Berlin.
Evan Berlin? No, it's a Jewish fellow.
Very, very beautiful. Now, I ask you that also because I gave myself a plant. So I was telling you earlier that I sang at Shea Stadium in Citi Field,
right?
But for something called Jewish Heritage Day. And not only did I get to sing, but they had me introduce the ball players onto the field in Yiddish.
Wow.
Und jetzt, meine lieben Metniks, New York Mets. Der erste Schlugger spielen die zweite Base, Nummer 12, Roberto Alomar.
How do you say that in Yiddish? Roberto Alomar.
I don't know.
You gotta find a Jewish name.
You saw the players, like, but my father got very excited because I was a Met fan from the time I was a little kid, right? He wrote Yiddish lyrics to Meet the Mets. And
wow.
This is my only opportunity in my entire life that I'm going to get to do this again. All right, if you know the Mets, here's the song. Grüß die Mets, grüß die Mets. Kommt zu gehen und seht die Mets. Bringt die Kinder, bringt die Weib. Amüsieren sich die ganze Zeit, weil die Mets wollen Tag gewinnen die Game. Schlugen die Home Runs und kommen nach
Sicher das so?
Mizrach Marev. Alle kommen in seinen Park zu sehen die METS Mets von Stadt New York.
That is great. Oh my gosh, that's great. I should learn that one by April 6th, right?
Oh man,
that would be amazing.
Come on, I'll teach it to you, and just give my father credit. And it's not easy. The thing about Yiddish is it's not easy to like take it and you know between English and Yiddish and get the real feeling of it.
Right.
But you know, I'm so thrilled with what you're doing because of the expansiveness of it. You know, I mean, I've said it, but you must be like out of your mind, like having fun.
Oh, it's an amazing ride. Everything from to working with professionals that I've always looked up to. That's incredible. You know, whichever career you do or whatever you follow, whatever hobby you are, you always want to strive to be the best. Yeah. And getting a record deal is something for a singer would be amazing. But I always thought, how could it be possible? Maybe a voiceover, I don't know. And then here we are. And it's working with Graham and the whole team of the label, working the album. We have the Royal Philharmonic playing. The album was going to be The Perfect Dream. That's the album title. Working with an incredible producer, John Cohen, which he had Grammy-nominated tracks as well. So the whole thing, and the shows that we're doing, and the feedback that we're getting from all different types of people, all different Jewish people across the globe, and not even Christian following is very interested in the liturgical music and in general the music. So it's incredible. It's really an amazing experience and I'm looking forward to even bigger experience more.
Of course.
Yeah.
And what I love about what you're doing is, so I've read a little about you. So you're doing what you're doing really out in the secular world, but not compromising who you are and what your beliefs are and where you come from. It reminds me, so my family, my father was a Ger Chusid in Poland. So I'm just 2 generations really. My father looked like you. And until
exactly?
As a matter of fact. No, but it was a Ger Hasidic family. That means
then he probably looked like that, right? He put his face under his...
Now, I will say it was before my time, but I do remember my father telling me a story about my grandfather, who he was very, very pious, and they were quite wealthy, and they had a big farm. And at Christmas time, the workers would come and sing Christmas carols to him. And here's a real Chusid. You know, what does he do? And my father would say he always went to the window and, you know, thanked them. He understood what the point was. And to me, that's always the point. You know, I have a cousin who's still very Orthodox. And when my father passed, we had a minyan that included women and, you know. So he came to my house. He drove from Queens to Monroe, New York, where I live, sat in the car with his wife.
Yo?
Not Curious Yo, but not
palm trees.
Although, I gotta say, when when I
I
said
didn't think that
Kaddish
would be
for
possible.
when I said Kaddish for my dad, I went to Kiryas Yoel because that's where I could get a minyan every day.
Oh, wow.
So I went, and at first they said, "What do you?" I said, "Ich bin Ayid, you got to let me in," and they did. But
yeah, look, he came out alive.
I did. Well, no, the best thing about it is, so the prayer books, none of them have, it's like a little hard to read. So they're all, I don't know where we were, and there's nobody running the service. So I asked somebody, I said, by the way, it was, so he showed me, and then as we left, he gave me his card, an insurance card. He said, by the way, one good deed deserves another. But my cousin, he sat in the car while we had the minyan, and when everybody left, he came in and visited with me for a few minutes, because the mitzvah was to comfort the mourner.
Right.
So he was able to comfort me without compromising his beliefs. That's what it's about, man. So you're out here giving, as I understand it, you have quite a bit of quite a few fans that are not Jewish.
Oh, yeah, sure,
Yeah,
of course.
So, you're out there with that beautiful voice, singing these great songs on your record. Now, I heard, the record's not out yet, but I heard a few tracks because I get to hear these things. There's a track that I think it's so beautiful for your voice. They all are. Mm-hmm. But when I hear your voice, I think of sort of a lullaby. And you sing a song called Hushaby
Mountain.
Hushaby Mountain.
Yes.
Do you think we could get him to sing this song?
Of course.
Before we do, which is great, I want to do the same thing I did with Lenore earlier.
Okay.
Our two final questions. What does being Jewish mean to you?
Everything, I guess. It's who I am. But moreover, what is being Jewish? I think it gives life a purpose. We're here for a reason, and we live with it every day. Right? I think that's basically what it is, the way of life. It's who we are. Part of our DNA. That's really what it is.
Yeah, for me too. You got a favorite Jewish saying or word? Yiddish, Ladino, English, Hebrew?
Abi gesinnt.
Abi gesinnt. Do you know what that means? Abi gesinnt should be well.
Right.
There's
even a song. Abi gesinnt Sinn, a bissel Regen, na du egal, dem Kopf zu legen. Abi gesinnt, kämen glücklich sein. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shulem!
Thank you so much.
A gentle breeze from Hushaby Mountain softly blows over Lullaby Bay. It fills the sails of boats that are waiting to sail your worries away. It isn't far to Hushaby Mountain, and your boat waits down by the quay. The winds of night so softly are sighing, soon they will fly your troubles to sea. So close your eyes on Hushaby Mountain, wave goodbye to cares of the day, and watch your boat from Hushaby Mountain sail far away from Lullaby Bay. Hushabye mountain, wave goodbye to cares of the day, and watch your boat from Hushabye mountain sail far away from Lullaby Bay.
Shulem, ladies and gentlemen. He's got some events coming up. Go to IamShulem.com and you can see him live do a great concert. Shulem!
We'll be right back with a very special induction to the Catskills Hall of Fame.
Want to know what programs will be on JBS in the coming week? Then sign up for the JBS Sunday email, which highlights future JBS programming and gives you the JBS weekly schedule, which you can print out and refer to throughout the week. And it's so simple to do. Just visit our new JBS website at jbstv.org and click on Newsletter Sign Up and fill in your name and email address. And every Sunday morning, you'll receive an email with JBS programming information. JBS, expanding Jewish understanding, celebrating all things Jewish.
Folks, you got a crazy crowd tonight. Folks, the Catskill Mountains in its heyday was a magical place. Just 100 miles from New York City is where Jewish comedy became American comedy. A fresh air haven for Jewish families, including many survivor families like my own. A place where for a few weeks in the summer, maybe even the whole summer, they were able to relax, unwind, and begin to live again. The Catskills Hall of Fame honors the men and women who gave us so much: entertainers, musicians, athletes, hotel owners. They helped us thrive, they helped shape American culture, and they left a legacy for us all. Our honoree for this evening is the irrepressible Totie Fields. Sophie Feldman was born in Hartford, Connecticut on May 7, 1930. By age 4, she was singing on the radio, and by 14, she was touring the Borscht Belt. Totie Fields was one of our most important pioneering women comics. Joan Rivers said, "If Totie Fields had not led the way for women into comedy, I wouldn't be around. Lily Tomlin wouldn't be around. Carol Burnett wouldn't be around." And she was one of the inspirations for the main character in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Fields gained fame during the 1960s and 70s after Ed Sullivan saw her perform at the Copacabana in New York City and gave her her first big break. She appeared on his show more than 24 times, as well as many other major TV shows of the day. She was one of the first self-deprecating women comics, 4'9" and 170 pounds. She once said, "I come right out and say, I'm fat." That leaves the hecklers with nothing. Totie Fields had a huge presence in the Catskills, not only as a fabulous entertainer, but as one of the most personally beloved people. Comic Elaine Boozler credits Totie, who had never met her, with pulling strings to get her on The Tonight Show, which went on to propel her career. To this day, she cites it as one of the most generous things anyone could have done for a young comic. Fields was plagued with health problems the last 2 years of her life, including the amputation of her left leg and 2 heart attacks. Returning to performance, a much thinner Fields rose from her wheelchair and said, "I've waited my whole life to say this. I weigh less than Elizabeth Taylor." That same year, Fields was voted Entertainer of the Year by AGVA, the American Guild of Variety Artists. Receiving the award, she told the audience, "I don't want anyone feeling sorry for me." Totie Fields was a true and courageous pioneer. She and her husband, George, had 2 daughters. Totie passed in 1978. She was 48 years old. Let's enjoy some classic Totie.
Pretty look, I need nothing. I don't even wear hardly any makeup at all. Look at this face. Do you want to know there are only 2 things I even use? Silly putty and sandpaper. And exercise. I am a very firm believer of exercise. I mean, that's how I stay firm, you know? I have a wonderful tip for you ladies out there. Really, listen to me. I do this exercise 1 hour every day. Look at this. Look how thin my fingers are over there.
Totie Fields. Hi, folks. You know, we're often asked where people can get my books or CDs. We've created a very easy way to get them. Simply go to jakeehrenreich.com. Both my CDs are there, A Treasure of Jewish Christmas Songs, which is a tribute to the Jewish songwriters, and Yiddish Unplugged, a compilation of my dad's favorite Yiddish folk songs. Both make excellent gifts. Of course, my first book, A Jew Grows in Brooklyn, is available, which Publishers Weekly called Entertaining Throughout. And there are more items too. So it's very simple. Just go to jakeehrenreich.com, wind up with a book to read, some music to enjoy, or a unique gift for a loved one. Stay well, my friends. I look forward to seeing you. And now back to the show. That's our show! I'd like to thank my guest, Shulem! Lenore Skenazy! Our wonderful announcer. Please help me thank our directors, Sloan Copeland and Lisa Ehrenreich. Video John Firsthand. Technical director, Yaman Pollack. Senior sound director, Isaiah Amelin. Tristan Berg, Mark Freundlich. Peter Martin here at the wonderful triad. And JBS President, Executive Director, Rabbi Mark Malik. We'll see you next time.